So, hello, welcome, and good evening, everyone. So, good evening to the day one of business analysis, um, day 13th of Agile BS track. However, the day one for business analysis. Okay, I welcome you all, and let's get going to get started for our new track. All right. So, before we begin, I wanted you, even if you are listening to the recording, I want you to do a declaration for yourself. A declaration is nothing but assuring that whatever on path you are in, that is going phenomenal and helping you in a bigger and deeper way. Okay, so are you ready? If not, please get ready and be ready to give yourself high five, stating this that I am super awesome learner. I am quick learner. I am super awesome learner. I am quick learner. Thank you.
I'm super awesome learner. I'm a quick learner.
Amazing. And now you can reiterate that if anyone out in this world can learn anything, I too can learn that. Yeah.
I too can learn anything and anyone can learn anything.
Awesome. Awesome. Definitely you can. And you know, when you see the echo assurance from someone else, it means that it is stamped that you are ready for that. So without further ado, let me go back and see what is coming on our way today. So this is week 5, day 1, and what we have learned. Last time we had learned self-organizing and cross-functional team, agile planning and estimation. I know a couple of us could not find time to complete the project or complete the exercise or assignment, but still the good news is this, that few of us have done it. So one wonderful thing what Priyanka has just messaged me, and this is about this. You can see yeah, on the picture. Can you see the assignment is done already? It's about case study. We have 3 user story and how well it is written.
Yes.
Okay,
Excellent job.
Dipti, is it readable to you?
Yeah.
Yes, I can read this.
So could you please read for us?
Yes. User story 1. As a doctor, I can sorry, because I read this, I wrote the same example as a
Oh,
doctor. That's why
wow.
I started laughing. Sorry. As a
See.
doctor, I can access the daily patient dashboard so that I can view how many patients did not show up.
Mhm.
Then acceptance criteria. Given the doctor has an access to the dashboard, when he clicks on the dashboard, then he is able to see the patient who showed up for the appointment. He is able to see how many patients cancel the appointment.
Mhm.
And user story 2, appointments. As a nurse, I can access the daily patient dashboard so that I can see the daily patient appointments. And acceptance criteria is, given the nurse has access to the dashboard, when he or she clicks on the dashboard, then he or she is able to see the patient dashboard. And then user story 3, lab test appointments. As a lab technician, I can access the daily patient test schedule so that I can see the daily test patient schedule. Acceptance criteria, given the technician has access to the dashboard, when the technician clicks on the dashboard, then the technician is able to see the patient test appointment, I guess.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for reading for us. And let's give a
Welcome.
clap for Dipti for reading, and of course Priyanka for doing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Priyanka for doing, I would say.
Hmm. So yeah, so back to you, Prerna ji. Would you like to bear some torch on this 3 user story written? If you could bear.
Gaurav to be very honest, I'm very happy, first of all, that they took the initiative and they actually worked on something, because I'm pretty sure that due to the daily activities. They might be super tied up, but still kudos to both of you that you took the initiative. And I think it is pretty nice and self-explanatory. So I don't want to add something to this, but then here on, as we go more into the BA role, we will have some of these kind of activities which they can do on their own,
Yeah.
so that would help them develop. So
Yeah,
yes, that's it.
definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. But still, I would like to add something. It's really amazing that you guys came up and you have done it. And still, some of you could not do it. You are on the verge of completing it. So the important thing over here in use case one, rather user story one, is that here what we found, there are two user story we have written in one. The user story one itself says that I can view how many patients did not show up. That's a great user story. However, when we are trying to match it with the acceptance criteria, we are finding that two has been clubbed over here. One is about patient who showed up for the appointment, and then he is able to see how many patients cancel the appointment. So do you also find there are two activity, showing up for checking if the patient have showed up, how many have showed up, and also about cancellation appointment. So what happens in user story writing is simply, if we find that there are two activity or two action items are coming up, we can simply separate them and we can write two different user story. One is for showing up and another is for canceling. So is it clear over here that what we can do better over here?
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Yes,
I mean, I
Gaurav.
understood. Hopefully.
Yeah, Gaurav,
Priyanka, I guess there is one suggestion. Even Gaurav, can I say something? If
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
okay with
Go
you.
ahead. Go ahead.
So Priyanka, what I thought that instead of doctor, you could have just write the front desk people, right? Because usually they are more concerned about the cancellation and the like the patient who came and the patient who did not make it that day.
Yeah.
So rather than doctor, I would definitely suggest you it should be the
So
front desk
Dipti, good
person.
suggestion. Good suggestion. And here you would say, if Dipti would add this for the receptionist, you will have one more. So this she has said that is one more user story. One is for doctor also can do this activity, as well as even receptionist can do activity, because doctor could be the super user and receptionist can be one normal user, okay, with the lower rights, right? So you will come up over here with the 4 user story for a lone user story one, right? So you can break it down further. So as a doctor, I can access the daily patient dashboard so that I can view how many patients did not show up, user story number 1. User story number 2, as a doctor, as a receptionist of the doctor name, blah, 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 I can access the daily patient dashboard so that I can view how many patients did not show up. 2 user story happened over here. The third user story will fulfill this cancellation part. As a doctor, I can access the daily patient dashboard and will be able to see how many patients cancel the appointment. That's the third user story one. The fourth user story one, as a receptionist, I should be able to access the patient dashboard so that I can see how many patients cancel the appointment. Now, these entire 4 user story will turn into 4 different acceptance criteria. Is it giving more clearer picture now, Priyanka?
yes, Gaurav, yes. it
So
is.
maybe while we are discussing, we are brainstorming together. It's all about brainstorming. You might have come up with the another different insight. Why only nurse and why only doctor? We will have some other one also, other user who can perform this activity. And good, further you have written for nurse and then lab test and all. And if you see that you have clubbed two action item together, you can simply break them further. So this
Got
is the this is
Yeah.
the this is the keynote for today, that
Yeah.
two action item can be simply separated in a different user story, but amazing work done. Amazing. How much clarity you have got till now is showing the way you have written the user story. So super. Okay. So you have
Gaurav.
an
Yeah,
question?
just
Yeah.
just one question. So the thing is like it's like in last class, there was a slide. I think maybe I did not perceive that right.
Mhm.
Under the acceptance criteria, under like, then there were
Mhm.
like, there was, inside the bracket, it was written 2 or more outcomes. So I think I got confused with that.
Okay, was that
Yeah,
so?
I was like, I think I over thought that particular point, because my gut was saying, to go with, since it's one, but then I
Mm.
was like, okay, maybe I have to play it like, in two scenarios. So
Mhm.
that's why I think, but I got clarity what you told me right now. So
Amazing.
I understand. And
Yeah.
also, this example I made keeping in mind like a big hospital system rather than a clinic. So that was, where there are multiple doctors,
Hmm.
multiple nurses, multiple lab tests going on, like New Jersey Health and Hospital or New York Health and Hospital system. So that's why, I thought, but to break down like three people, like doctor or nurse or the lab test, lab technician. But I think all the points put forward by you and also by Dipti is good. Like, I maybe I'll just note it down for my future reference.
Yeah, definitely. And great explanation. And yeah, so the important point what you might have noted, that listen to gut sometime as well. So I was just trying to learn in this slide. So I'm
Yeah.
just trying to check,
So
given initial context when event occurs, then ensure some
ensure some outcome. So I got confused with some, as
okay.
overthought it, I think.
Okay, so it should be ensure one outcome. Okay, instead of some. So that will be more clearer for you, or anyone else will be referring to it later. Yeah, that makes more sense, right?
Yeah, yeah, Gaurav. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Priyanka. Let's move ahead towards what we have done. So we are done with this, and now today is amazing day because we are just starting off on business analysis track, and hope you can see this. And we will be learning more about business analysis, its history, and what is business analysis, who is business analyst, and why is it necessary, right? Let me see if someone is waiting. Rahul was waiting, so I'm just letting him in. So yeah, I'm still not sure why Bobby has not turned up, but that's okay. So Rahul, just for you, if you can still listen to us and you are on the mic. So
Gaurav, Bobby has messaged on the group answering your question, answering your message that he is stuck in traffic and there's a
okay,
lot of rain, so he won't be able to make.
okay, no worries, no
I
worries.
just saw that.
That's fine. So Bobby, if you are listening, then we totally understand. If you are watching the recording, so no worries, catch up in the recording completely, listen to it till the end, because you may add up some lot of sense till the end. So fine, Rahul, I hope the message you have got or not, but the main agile scrum part is over, and now we have transitioned into business analysis day one, and we are restarting on this. So this is the message for you. And with this, we had left last time with some assignments. I'm not sure if you missed last time, so you could watch that or not. So still, this was the message for you. And yeah, so let me ask you before we proceed, guys, how many of you know that like agile scrum part we completed, we talked about scrum guide. Okay, we talked about agile manifesto, what it consists of. It consists of 4 values and 12 principles. Do you remember that? Who has who does remember it yet? 12 principle and 4 values in agile manifesto and scrum guide. I hope you, if you have not remembered, then you can take a note of it, because we spent a lot time discussing about this, around this, and it should be the Bible of agile scrum. Likewise, for PM, there is Bible for that, and we call it as a project management book of knowledge, or PMBOK. It has various versions, so that's for PMBOK. That's about PM track. But here we are for business analysis. Why I brought this references? Because for BA, for business analysis track as well, there is one Bible, which we call it as a reference guide, that is called as BA BOK. That is the Business Analysis Board of Knowledge, Book of Knowledge. Okay, so how it all started? So it started with the International Institute of Business Analysis, business analyst, and it was founded in Toronto. Okay, so in Canada, October 2003, the community decided to support and come together for business analysis community, and the body of knowledge community was formed in October 2004. But just before that, it was undergoing some reformation activity, some knowledge gaining activity, some accumulation process. And then in 2004, it was defined and drafted with the help of multiple set of business analysts who were already practicing. And then they released in 2005 around January the version 1.0, that was the Guide to Business Analysis Body of Knowledge. Okay, someone say body of knowledge, someone says board of knowledge, and because it's a guide, right? Someone says to the released copy as a book of knowledge, and this was referred always for feedback and comment. So that's the history of business analysts, board of knowledge and body of knowledge, for creating one reference point for all the business analysts. If you could get the guide, the guide of the latest version, I think latest version should be 3.0 or something, but you can still refer in the Google, because every now and then it is updating. Okay, so we'll understand what is business analysis. Yeah, so as per BA BOK Guide 3.0, that was the latest till last month. Business analysis is nothing but the practice of enabling the change. Remember, this is very, very important. You need to be very much happy the moment you listen that some new change has appeared. Why you should be very much happy? Can someone tell me that why do you think the moment you listen to change or listen about the change, that some new change has been introduced in a product, in a software, or any new feature has appeared, why should you as a business analyst be happy for that? Any answer?
Because there is more work projects which are going to come, and more billing hours as a beginning we can build. That's what.
Excellent, Priyanka. And that's the game all about. So it's all about billing, billing, billing. If you're working in any organization and if you are unbillable for longer period, then that's becomes scariest stuff. Okay, and stuff of employment and stuff of continuity in the organization. But the moment you listen about change, you should be happy, because there are more work is coming, and you are valued, and you are ready to add more value to that change. And responding to the change quickly is agility, but business analysis is the business analysts are the backbone of that foundation. Okay, so that's why it's very, very important. So so now let me reiterate that agility is the foundation for quicker delivery. However, business analysis is the backbone of any project. Okay, because he knows or she knows in and out of that life cycle, feature or functionality, or of the change which has been just introduced. If even though if she does not know that, it's the responsibility of any business analyst that they need to grab the information about that. Okay, So business analysis is the practice of enabling the change in an enterprise by defining the needs and recommendation or recommended solution that deliver value to stakeholder. So it's all about value game. With your presence, if you keep on adding value, then you are counted at the highest priority. Okay, because your need become more vital and more important and more the needy one. Okay, the need becomes more needier. Okay, so that's a very important part. And to go back to the layman example, means what you can take a reflection from the business analysis role or business analyst role. So you remember that since your childhood you have been playing something, some games, it could be any kind of a game. But do you know that any singular game or any kind of a game, even today, revolves around some rules and regulation and some standard? Would you agree with this? I believe that every one of you would agree. Yes? Yes or yes? Is the answer yes is from everyone? Yeah. Thank you so much for thumbs up, Dipti. Yeah. So to know the regulation and the rules in and out is very very important, so that you can define a guideline, you can improve the guideline, and during that guidelines only you needed to play. Because anything changes towards winning the game or towards losing the game, you know, we have won or lost because there is some defined parameter, and we knew that whether we have followed that or not, and that is only the parameter of winning or losing any game. And project is nothing at the similar kind of a game which you are playing, adhering to the regulation and standards. So take a project not as a work, but as a game, as a play. And with this intent, if you start solving any problem, you see at the winner side instead of loser side. So because what happens, why delay and delta appears? So delay and delta only appears because there is a lack of confidence, lack of knowledge, and lack of ability to respond to the change. However, business analysts are mean to respond to the change, and responding to the change is more key element towards agility and scrum as well. So that's the fair idea I wanted to share with you about what is business analysis. So it's all about adhering by the adhering to the rules and regulation. Okay, you should also be knowing then who does this. Is there any authorized person for doing it, or anyone and everyone can do that? Before we proceed further, I would like Prerna ji to add and talk about this slide more if she wants to add some insights about it. Yeah, Prerna ji, over to you.
Guruji, first of all, thank you so much for sharing from the standard point of view, as it what BA Bog guide prescribes business analysis role as a role. I would really recommend all of us, all of you guys, to whenever you are doing any Google search regarding BA, or you're reading something, please ensure that it is adhering to BA Bog guide, because there are many what I would say responsibilities or features of this role which does vary industry wise. So one important takeaway from this is, please try to get the knowledge or stick to this authorized or standardized site. Second, business analysis, as the word suggests, it's analysis of business. It's in simple term and layman's term, but it's very interesting because it requires a lot of skills along with only analytical skills. It requires a lot of people management, because as a BA you deal with almost every what I would say strata, or every level of people in your organization. They can be the managers, they can be the customers, they can be the developers, they can be the architectures. So it's a very interesting, and it's a very what I would say at times a little challenging, but challenging in a good way, that it allows you to learn a lot. There are certain BAs who become SMEs, that is subject matter expert. There are some BAs who are domain specific expert. So the opportunities are endless, and with very basic few skills like good communication skills, good presentation skills, understanding and analytical skills, you all are good to go for this role. There is no hard and fast, that's, I would say, any particular degree or course that has to be done. So it's a very open to understand and easy to master, I would say, role, which we will be learning. So yes, Gaurav, I just wanted to add these few things with respect to the role itself, that how it is in practical real world and industry. So over to you. Thank you so much.
Excellent insight, Prerna ji. Thank you so much for adding them up. So why we are saying that, guys, that whenever you are doing Googling, or searching something on Google, so the important factor over here is that, you will find a lot of expertise and a lot of knowledge over there, and that's why when you find yourself stuck in storm of knowledge, I would definitely tell this, that it becomes the curse of those knowledge. Okay, because you are not narrowing down, and you will find yourself um, ending up to beating around the bush. So you should be following some step by step guidance, and that's why such kind of means what we are into here, the instructor led training program. The thing is that BA box should being the reference point. uh, any decision should revolve around that, and that's why this is the disclaimer over here, that make sure things are referred through, to, and by this BA box guide only. And if you can find it, that's amazing. And even if you couldn't find that, but definitely you can find
Gaurav ji,
or
cannot see that screen.
you can't see.
No, the one below.
No, I'm not getting you. You are not able to
There's
see.
the one which is like a disclaimer. We're not able to see disclaimer. We're just seeing a picture.
Disclaimer, I'm just speaking out. Okay, so
Okay.
there, it's not written much. So yeah, thank you for just asking. Yeah, so yeah, that's the only the message for you guys, and I hope everyone has got the connection and understanding that what should be done, what should not be done. So do's and don'ts are clear about how should the reference be. So now let's move towards the business analyst and learn who is this. So the business analyst and its role in Scrum. Why in the Scrum? Because Scrum being the popular approach in any delivery today. Okay, in any delivery in IT, because things are revolving around, and everyone is trying to become agile coach, and everyone is trying to understand the agility. So let me rephrase this thing, because in the previous uh, previous chapters or previous sessions, we have spoken about it, that agility, when comes to agility, people only get guided uh, uh, by the experience. Okay, they sometime or rarely find that they are trying to cross check or introspect towards what, towards the relation of a decision from the Scrum guide. Let me repeat this. So it's all about checking back the relation of a decision with the Scrum guide, and there you decide whether the things are moving ahead as per Scrum guide or not. Why? When what happens exactly, the moment you join in any corporate, they have got different set of practices. Every single corporate and all over the world, they follow certain level of practices, and that's why in every single or another organization, you will find that there is a different set together, standard together, and department together already, which is called as Center of Excellence, and they have got their practices, different practices, and whatever they follow, they try to abide by that, because they have defined protocols for themselves. And that's why somewhere you will find that people are fully following agility, or they are following agility in a mixed way, or they are just adapting some part of agility, but they are not at all following agility. And very few organizations are that much honest who come up and say, even though we are practicing the stuff on the using agile tools, but we are not following agility at all. You will end up finding such variety of people in the organization. So if you find that your birth appears, I mean to say over here, birth appear means you join a company, the first company who is following the agility, and you find that there are certain practices and you are finding yourself getting matured in that organization and understanding more aspect towards the agility in that organization, very first organization itself. And tomorrow you are switching your job and you are finding that few practices are differing from the previous organization. Be very careful. The rebel mindset is always there, and it says quickly that this is not as per standard. Why it says that? Because the agility and the practices installs a belief system, and human mind is a tool which always get guided by the belief system, by the past programming. And the moment you realize the words which I have just now quoted, be careful in the next organization before you go ahead against the practices, because you are not sure whether we followed in the previous organization was only the part of Scrum Guide standard, or it was just a practices adapted in the previous organization. Because you have not cross-checked that, that's why in the new organization you are able to trying or finding yourself always correct, and the practices of newer organization incorrect. And that's what it happens since, and it has happened since our childhood. If we have learned certain rituals or certain what do you call certain habits, and then we grow up and we saw that there is a change in rituals being performed by other people, and any activity being performed by other person differently, we don't even check on our belief system that what we have done, we could be wrong, or it was just a part of adaptation. We never think in that direction. Why? Because it happens with every single human being. They believe that whatever thought has taken birth inside my body, that is only the correct stuff, because that is coming through me. And we live in that belief, and we with by being more stubborn with that belief, we reject the flexibility coming to us, we reject the boon coming to us in the disguise, or new changes coming to us disguised, and we simply don't adapt it, and we reject it. And when we go into the rejection mode, we don't even realize that we are losing some more valuable solution. So this was another disclaimer for those who follow the agiles. Okay, coming why we are always going back and referring to agile, because again, let me reiterate, agility today is an approach which is the foundation of any delivery, and business analysis is the backbone of it. So a business analyst is any person who performs a business analysis task described in the BA Bog guide, no matter the job title or organizational role. These people are responsible for discovering, sensitizing, and analyzing. Analyzing is the key over here. Information from a variety of sources within an enterprise, including tools, processes, documentation, stakeholders. The business analyst is responsible for eliciting the actual needs of stakeholder. And from there, the formation happens of any new artifact, which we will be covering in our business analysis track as well, what all those artifacts could be and you can produce. And you will find yourself that you are so much enabled by the end of this track that you can produce such kind of authentic artifacts for any kind of requirement. Why requirement? Because a project is nothing but a requirement only. So, and this frequently involves investigating and clarifying the desire in order to determine underlying issue and causes. Issues will be there, causes will be there. Why these will be there? Because issues and causes lead towards the goal, which is nothing but a need, and need or requirement is nothing but a project. Has it brought lot of clarity to you what we are talking about over here? If you are got more clarity towards business analysis or business analyst, just show me thumbs up or just say yes by unmuting yourself. Are you there with me so far? Yes.
Yes, Gaurav.
Thank you, Priyanka, and thank you, Dipti. Amazing. So yeah, so this was about who is business analyst. So try to understand whether you, and business analyst is the person who is very close to stakeholders. Everyone finds every single business analyst find always in demand by every single department, be it the QA, be it the Dave, be it the project management, because he is someone who is expected to know in and out. Okay, so why
Gaurav, is it okay if I add something
yeah, yeah,
here?
please,
Because
please,
you've been
please.
talking for a long time.
Yeah,
Please have
yes,
some
yes,
water.
yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
So, as I mentioned in the early welcome, as I mentioned in earlier during this session, that PA is a role that is associated, or that is, that has to have conversations, discussions, meetings with almost every stakeholder in an organization. When I say stakeholders, I'm pretty sure you all understand what a stakeholder means by now, because we have had a detailed stakeholder management session wherein everybody important or associated in a project per se, that would be starting with we can start with our organization. So starting with your, first of all, your developers, your QA team, the people who actually work on a grassroots level, developing code, testing code, deploying code, so that entire team of yours. Then you have your senior people like your team leaders, your architects, subject matter expert, who are very specific and who are like expert in their topic or their domain, whom they might be consultant, they might be working for some, they might be catering to variety of projects and they're just part of your project. Then going back to your managers, if you have to deal with them, if you have to, there might be scenarios where you need to talk to them about how the process is going. And then last but not the least, your overall customer engagement, the point of contact from customers. So basically what happens, a BA's role is throughout there in a complete SDLC, that is software development life cycle. So as per my personal experience, in the kickoff meeting, which is supposedly the first meeting with the customer, along with your project, along with the project managers and maybe some seniors from the team, a particular BA or senior BA or their team is also invited for this meeting. So that's like the first face off or first meeting with the customer, wherein we sit and we know there is actually sharing of the expectations, more or less, because the customer would say then this is their requirement. They might be needing a website for their for say financial business they have, so all that is given the platform to be shared, and what are the expectations. So BA's role starts from there. They start jotting down the requirement. Then they will have to prepare a BRD, that is business requirement document. Then that BRD would be reviewed by the senior, by their SMEs, or by the consultant who are expert in those in that particular field. Say if it is finance or if it is mutual funds, then you might have an SME who is well trained, well experienced, well groomed in this topic. So after that, that particular BRD would go to customer for sign off. So this is a very initial phase, but then BA's role is so important, and it is so well engaged in this entire process that they start with the initial meetings, And then every time if there is in not only in case of there is some doubt, but otherwise also, if your internal development team has any doubts regarding with respect to any particular exercise, sorry, any particular requirement, they BAs are the first point of contact. They are reached out, they explain the requirement or what has been mentioned in the BRD, and it is their duty to have all the important points to be incorporated in the BRDs. BRDs, I've been always mentioning, it is like a Gita, Bible, Quran. You have to have all the important pointers in the BRD. If something is missing in the BRD, we can be 100% sure that it will not be a part of the actual project or actual, delivery. So they have to be very, they are very, BA role is very crucial, and it's really interesting because you get to learn so much. It's not that you have to know everything at once. As slowly, gradually you talk and have discussions and meetings with variety of people, you take their understanding, what are their expectations, and you jot them down. And BRD templates are easily available on the internet, as well as mostly all the organizations have their own customized templates, so it's very easy to understand. There might be few diagrams, few tables, a particular pattern wherein the information has to be displayed or has to be mentioned. So a lot of guidance is definitely there, and it's not something that you require super high training for, or much experience. You can start from where you are. If you have good communication, you can definitely share your views, understand other person's requirement or views, or what are the expectations, especially with respect to customer. You are definitely good to go. So as of now, as we're taking this topic, this might sound little more intense, which it is, but then to be very honest, it's a very interesting role. I have my some of the ex-colleagues, current colleagues who are in this role, and they thoroughly enjoy it because you feel a part of this entire process, starting from the inception. You're there in the meetings, you're there in the understanding, you are even there till the delivery part of it. So if there is some test cases wrong, then you can definitely tell them, oh, this was the expected functionality you had missed there. So your importance and your what I would say, engagement is so important for this entire process. So it's a very interesting role. And then while in the process, you do understand and you do gain experience a lot of different domains, different products. That's actually the it's the benefits of this process. By being a BA also, you after being a BA or while being a BA, you add so much more to your own profile, as a person, as a resource. Also, you grow, your understanding increases, your reachability to different clients, you know how to deal with might be some customers who are very what I would say, attention seeking, or there might be some team members who are not so easy to deal with, but still over the period of time you learn, and you rather, even I would say, excel in it. So it's a very interesting role. And then this role, as Gauravji was explaining, it has to be in cooperation and in association with all the other roles in the organization, managers, developers, testers, everybody. And then that really creates a good rapport to it. And then the feeling of valuing, or the feeling which you get when you see your work is being valued, being appreciated, it really matters. So that is what this satisfaction you get from this role. So I just wanted to add these things because I have work very closely with BAs, and I know what kind of importance they have in an organization, their work, and how that is delivered, and how even managers go to them for any doubts, if any, for the clarifications. So it's a beautiful and wonderful role to work on and to explore your own potential. So yes, Gauravji, I just wanted to add these few real life experiences to this track, wherein they would understand how it is in actual industry, and how much this role is valued. And there is a ample of opportunities in this role, because every organization, every company, every project needs BAs. And I think this training would definitely equip you to be a good, or a good BA to work with, and to explore your own talents, I would say. So yes, Gauravji, over to you.
Yeah.
If you guys have any doubts,
Prerna ji,
please feel free. Yes.
Prerna
Yes,
ji.
Rahul, please go ahead.
BA, I have a feeling that BA is not normally, it could be a case that BA is not related to IT also sometimes, right? Because that's in an organization, he's just a strategy consultant.
Definitely. Yes, BA is business analysis. So your business can be anything. It can be medicine, it can be pharma, it can be shipping, it can be R&D, it can be anything. So there are
Yeah.
business analysts who study the market, they are into finance, who study the research, who are into medicine. So, but
Yeah.
right now, with respect to our training, our track, we are focusing more on the IT part of it. So what is their role in IT? So yes, your question is absolutely right. Yes.
So Babak Guide is also totally geared towards IT, or it's geared towards general business analysis.
I'm pretty sure it is more towards IT, but I think Gaurav is the right person to throw some light upon this.
Yeah,
Gaurav, over to you.
definitely. This is more about IT.
IT.
Yeah, but you will end up finding different kind of example and analogy. Why there is a big reason behind that, because we find sometimes few question answered through our daily chores. Okay, and everything, if we will try to define and describe through our technical stuff, there are chances you will lose the you will still find some gaps in subconscious. You will still find some gaps or some questions unanswered. But the moment you find it that it is relating with your daily activities, you simply find it, okay, you have got the gist of it. So did I answer you, Rahul?
Oh, to some extent, yes.
Okay, to some extent, yes. Okay, fine, no worries. So understand, as Prerna ji was telling, and the question answer were happening, to understand anything, it is very important, and it has been practiced by international standard to let any topic teach. It is always better to take analogy or references or example from daily routine. Why? Because it makes your mind, or a student's mind, or learner's mind, um, bring on the ease to digest the information which is being delivered. Okay, so if you were not knowing till today, this is the information and could be a new information for you. Why in some industry or somewhere you find that some simple analogy or some simple examples are given, references are given. So having spoken till here, I hope you guys are getting till now. You have understood what Prerna ji has spoken, what I have added. Now there is something I need to ask you guys. Okay, so are you good till now? Whatever we have spoken, you have understood? Yes, Priyanka and Dipti? Yeah, thank you so much, Dipti. Yeah, and thank you so much, Priyanka. So I want to know from you guys what you have so far identified could be skill or could be attribute of a business analyst. I want to know the more trait of a business analyst. Who would like to add?
I think the business analyst should be more alert. He should gather information from the client. He should be asking a lot of questions to the client, so that he can clarify all the doubts the client might have. So he should have the multiple qualities, and he should be at some point very talkative, where by talking with people he can gather a lot of information.
Excellent, Dipti. Amazing. Yeah, Priyanka, would like to hear from you as well. What did you identify till now?
Gaurav, I think business analyst is a very good, like a liaison between the client or the customer and the rest of the team who are actually going to carry out, the final goal. And also the business analyst should be totally aware of all the aspects of the project regarding, the objectives, the goals, and governance, and all the restrictions, and he should be able to use, different approaches to achieve that final goal. So he basically, I think, should be very well informed of the client's needs and should be, equipped enough to communicate that to the rest of the team who are actually going to carry out the project and, in the total SDLC life cycle, he should be very involved with that.
Brilliant, brilliant, Priyanka, and great answer. So I believe that till now you guys are clear. I know Rahul is already clear because he is practicing, watching, and seeing because he is already into corporate. So having said that, I also want to tell you one very important thing is that when we are talking about business analyst role, and just while ago, Prerna ji and Rahul ji was discussing about these all things that a business analyst can be responsible for different stream, different verticals. When I'm talking about that, it's all about different activities. Say for example, a business analyst could be responsible for knowing in and out of healthcare department, in and out of for insurance product and insurance life cycle, also for banking, payment, or something like that. So why I'm telling, because you may find that requirement may turn up asking for individual business analysts to fill in if they have knowledge of banking domain, of payment domain, or say for example healthcare domain, insurance domain, about utility life cycle and all. So whenever you will see that, don't just be like in dilemma that whether you can be the part of this or not. Definitely you can be. Why you can be? Because even this training will be given to you. There will be a quick training explaining you what all the life cycle you may see or should have in healthcare, insurance, payment, banking, or messaging domain. When I'm talking about messaging, it's more has to inclination towards payment messaging, or say for example banking messaging services. Okay, we will talk about for these all things in detail in future. Let's come back towards the foundation and towards understanding the business analyst and business analysis job. Okay, moving towards the next chapter, why business analysis was needed. So you will as we had quoted earlier, okay, so changes and life happens. So life happens when we talk about that we are already using some item, we are using some processes, we are using some tool, we are using some product could be any IT product like CRM, like Salesforce, like we are using any kind of single tool. It could be mail campaigning tool or anything, and we found that there is a gap in the requirement fulfillment, and there is a leakage system which is not really serving the requirement at 100%, and we want to fill that gap. And why we want to fill that gap? Because gradually what happens, product may get older in comparison to the way system or hardware or the gadgets get upgraded. The software is not getting upgraded to match the speed, and to align the speed, we consider that these changes needs to be responded. And that's why the very first thing happened, that we asked business analysts to come in and analyze the gap, that how it can be fulfilled. And when we are talking about these changes, these are termed as a project, which requires flexibility and adaptation to respond to the change. And where, who is the best person, do you think? They could be only the business analyst, who will first discover that what all the area needs to be addressed in terms of filling the gap. Okay, so one has to analyze the impact due to change. This one is business analyst who analyzes the change, because we are reiterating continuously that who is the first person who will jump into this and gather requirement. And he's the person who lies with every single stakeholders. It could be as I said earlier also, from the different you say he's the person who will be most spinning cross functional communicator, because he has to deal with customer directly, product owner directly, devs directly, developers directly, and QS directly as well. And what used to happen earlier days, when business analyst used to be, and today also they are very concrete part of any project. um, Let me tell you how exactly happens. One scenario I wanted to share with you. So the phases that requirement comes in, developer team works upon that, they design it, they code about it, and here the testing team keeps on testing on every single phase, be it for identifying the requirement gaps or fulfilling the fulfilling in terms of the flaw came into the picture in front of them in the front end, that could be in the design part, and then in further functionality part, and thus it finally gets delivered one it is certified for the quality by the testers to the customer identifies that, and it is now in production. You understand what does production mean? Production means live environment. So I hope you are aware of this and you have understood whatever just now I have spoken. What does production mean? So production is the name of the environment, and like we talk about things where things which are being built by developers, that is called as his local environment, where he is developing the things. And when it has been developed over there, developer has unit tested that, he passes that to the QA environment. What is QA environment? QA environment where testers comes together and they test it. Once that is passed, there could be one more environment only dedicated for QA as well, sometime. But um, now, because QA has certified, it has to move towards what? SIT environment and UAT environment, and then production environment. Okay, when we talk about production environment, it's live for end user. When we talk about UAT environment, means still some customers business users are there who are testing it. And when we are talking about SIT environment, a system integration testing environment, where customers testers as well as vendors testers come into collaboration, and they continuously test it. Okay, so what happens during SIT and UAT environment? You find there is a collaborative talk happens, and we sometimes call it as a defect triage call. So because we are remotely discussing one defect, one issue, because one single issue impacts the multiple features and functionality of one product at larger level. So that's why it's very, very, very important to identify every single piece of issue, discuss around it, and validate it whether those tickets or those defects or those bugs are valid or not. Are you with me so far? What I am telling? So you may understand it at more detailed level like this. Let me bring the whiteboard. So just now what I have talked about local environment. So I will write over here as LOC, and without drawing this, let me bring the text. Okay, so LOC is local environment. Okay, so then it goes to QA or test environment. Okay, then we talked about SIT environment, then we talked about UAT environment, and then we talked about pre-prod environment. Pre-prod could be it could be the mirror environment of prod. Prod is nothing but the live environment. Okay, so what is SIT? SIT stands for system integration testing. UAT stands for user acceptance testing, and pre-prod is pre-production, just before production, and production is the live environment. Okay, QA is quality analysis environment. So everyone is testing the product, the features which is about to rolled out towards the market. Okay, so what exactly happens over here, what we were discussing, just let me shift back to the PPT once, so that I'll bring this quicker. Okay, the analysis part. So what I have just now spoken, I want to hear from you first. Okay, well, just to check whether you are with me so far or not. So yeah, who will go? So Rahul, would you like to add what I was just now discussing, if you were paying the attention? And why did I draw this all, white on whiteboard? Rahul, are you able to hear?
Yeah, you're just explaining different kind of testing environments.
And why I was doing that?
Because probably explaining different the local environment and I would say global environment, because production is the whole environment. Local, QA fit is more collaborative between the
Oh,
vendors and the client.
amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Rahul, for your answer. So, Priyanka, do you agree whatever Rahul has said? That was what only I was talking, or do you want to
Could
add
be-
some?
Probably you were adding more. I mean, this is
Yeah,
what
yeah. I totally understand. It's nothing that you have spoken wrong or right. This is about bringing everyone together on same platform. Yeah, Priyanka.
Yeah, Gaurav, I think we were talking about different set of environments which are there, like the local environment, then we have the QA and the test environment, which can further be broken into different test environments, like system integration, user acceptance, pre-production, and production.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your answer. And Dipti, would you like to add something over here? So what do you have understood why I have drawn this local QA test SIT, what I was just discussing before this?
Yeah, you were talking about the different set of environments, and then in that you were telling us like there are like the QA testing is going on, and then the UAT testing, user acceptance testing is going on. So there are different test environment, and you're talking about that.
And why I was talking is the answer is here, because just before that I was talking about this defect trash. Do you remember now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
defect trash discussion. So what is
And I don't understand this pre-pod also, because I
Okay.
never heard about it.
Okay, no worries. And thank you for being honest and asking. So pre-prod is nothing, but it's a mirror environment of production. What is production environment? Production environment is a live environment. What happens if you are doing any shopping on Amazon.com, you will find inside Amazon IT department, there is a pre-production where what exactly happens on the live environment on Amazon.com, its mirror environment is available for couple of identify user to test few features. Okay, from customer end, these means from our customer or vendors customer, they have appointed few customers to test it along with their business user. Of course, customer themselves sometimes keep on testing, and to that environment we call it as pre-prod. Pre-prod is nothing but it stands for just pre-production. It's before production, before rolling into production, before seeing the Amazon.com, you see its mirror, and that is called as pre-production. Mirror means it could sense it is just duplicate of it, but it is never out from the IT department of Amazon.com for the normal public. Now, did you get it? What does pre-prod means?
Gauravji, I would like to add.
Yeah, please
here.
go ahead, Prerna ji.
Yes, Priyanka, right? Priyanka asked this question.
No,
right?
no, Dipti.
Dipti, yeah. So Dipti, Gauravji had very correctly mentioned pre-prod, as the name suggests, it simply means prior to production. Okay, so why this environment? So for example, in real life scenarios, if you want to do some testing, we definitely cannot do on production because production means I would like to take his example only, Amazon.com. So for example, if I'm doing some activity on Amazon.com, I cannot test it on a actual website, So if I have to try something, I'll say give an order, place an order, buy something. Then I'll have to actually pay, actually give the details, and all those details after placing the order will be stored in Amazon's database. And that is not a one-time thing. For testing, we do multiple types of testing, multiple ways, multiple people with team. So all that is definitely not advisable and not done on production. But then how would you test it? You still want to go ahead with the testing. You can't just leave that. So for that, we create a pre-prod, which is just exactly like production, but it is not. The database is not connected to Amazon. The payments and all will not be required to be done actually. So all that authentication is toned down for some time, but then the look and feel, the functionality will be same as production. So this gives the developers and testers an opportunity to see how the real production will look once it is live. So it's simple. It's just like when we prepare a particular dish when guests are coming. So you ask your spouse or your kids to taste it. It is the same dish, but it is not gone to the actual users. It is within the individual users, and it is not exposed to the guest yet. So if there is some namak kam hai, there's some spices are less, or this is too much, so you can actually work on it, and then you present it to the final customers or final guests. So it is a replica. Replica is a very right word for this. Replica or mirror image of your production, just for the testing and understanding purpose. Once it is your testing is done, then your entire code or your application is deployed into production. So Dipti, are you good with this? I mean, did you understand what we were trying to
Yes,
explain
yes,
to you
it
by
is
this?
very clear. Yes. So basically creating a
Okay,
fake
super, super.
thing to create a test
Yes.
environment. Yes, got
Yes, but instead of like saying fake, just try to use the word replica or mirror
it.
image.
Replica.
So
Right,
that
right.
sounds more
Yeah,
technical.
makes sense.
Yes.
Right, right.
Over
Or
over
more
to you,
professional.
Guruji.
Thank you, Prerna.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Most welcome. Hello, Gaurav, you there?
Yeah, I was talking on mute. Thank you for
Okay,
asking.
okay.
Okay.
Thoughts. No, no worries.
Yeah,
Yes.
so thank you so much, Prerna, for bringing this up and asking this question. Well, Dipti, yes, this is exactly replica called, and this is exactly mirror environment call. Okay, you cannot do test some item on production as Prerna ji has spoken. For that, pre-prod environment is there. You can go and cross verify over there, right, Dipti? So that's why this pre-prod environment is given. So just main core intent is that you can go ahead and test what you cannot test on production live environment. Okay. So can I move further, Dipti, if you are done?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm clear with that.
amazing.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. So now understand this, why I was bringing this all up, because all these are testing environment. Their level are graduating further to the next quality certified process. Okay. So what happens inside SIT and UAT and pre-prod, customers are involved, okay, vendors are involved, and there what happens exactly, they keep on finding a defect. Okay, the defect could be due to various ways. So let me open something which I call it as mind map. So that's one of the tool which BA or business analyst should be knowing. So it's a good to have, not a must or not mandatory. So what exactly happens before it opens up, and I'll showcase you what exactly I want. So yeah, it has just now opened. Can you see mind map on the screen? So some new tool appearing on the screen? No?
No, we cannot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Now you would be able to see that. And I believe that now you are seeing the darker screen because this application is just loading. Just wait a
Mhm.
second. Yeah, so now you can see that central topic is there. So I call it as a defect. Okay, defect, issue, incident, error. Okay, issue, incident, error. Okay, why defect or issue or error can be introduced? Feature failure could be one reason. Okay. Um, Misunderstanding of the requirement could be another reason. Are you able to see the mind map where I am typing in? Yeah.
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
yes, it's visible.
Okay. Misunderstanding of requirement could be another one. Then what else I can type is unclear message in the document. Unclear, or say partial info in the document, and somewhere this third item will lead to the second one, because in the document what happens, if it is a requirement document, it will relate with the understanding of the requirement. So sometime what happens, there could be n number of reason a defect is introduced. Okay, are you with me so far? And because of this, what exactly happens we feel an urge to discuss about that defect, where business analyst is the first person business analyst is the first person who defines and analyze the truthfulness of a defect. Okay, and that's the reason you will find a business analyst for customer end, okay, and vendors end always available for defect triage. So sometime when it happens in the face-to-face conversation, you will find that B is from both end, from customers and vendors end are sitting and picking one defect from the Jira dashboard or from Excel sheet, referring and discussing the truthfulness of that defect, whether it is a defect or not, or whether this is a requirement gap, or whether this is a understanding gap. And where they discuss, sometimes they call it, if they are discussing in the production environment of pre-prod or UAT or SIT, it is called as a discussion defect triage call in a war room. That room itself is called as war room, but now things are happening remotely. We call it as a defect triage discussion or defect triage call, defect triage meeting. So are you clear with this concept right now? I just now explained what different types of environment to test. All right. Where production being the final live environment and pre-prod is the final testable environment. Every single person till pre-prod raises some defect could be caused by various reasons, could be feature failure, could be requirement failure, could be understanding failure. So when a product moves till pre-prod, generally what happens, feature failure is barred off. Why feature failure is discarded? Because that has been tested well, and that's why it has reached to pre-prod. Now whatever we are sensing as a defect, that could be only understanding gap or requirement gap which has been misunderstood. And that's the reason when we simply don't, even vendor don't intend to accept anything as a defect at this level, because things has rolled out towards the pre-production. Now we the vendor side BA and testers, some lateral or experienced testers become the part of this discussion along with product owner and project manager, and they defend whatever customer has raised a defect. Okay, customer has raised a defect, so they have to defend and they have to prove that this is all about document failure or understanding failure, this is not a defect. And these discussion goes on to in the communication conversation towards persuasion and towards ability to come on one agreement. And that's what we do in a defect triage call. Is it giving you more idea what exactly happens in real time, guys? Dipti, Prerna, Dipti, Priya, and Rahul. Rahul must be aware. I know. Yeah, Priyanka.
Yeah, Gaurav, I definitely got a good idea, but I have few doubts, like a
Yeah,
question.
yeah. That's good.
Yeah,
Ask.
so, yeah, if you could, yeah. So here, like what I understood was like, the BA from the client side and a BA representing the vendor side, along with the QA team, tester team, they come together and they they find out the truthfulness of each defect which they found out, right?
Mhm.
So I just want to know, that when we are saying the truthfulness, then it's becomes like a ball game, right? Like who was at fault. And since it is the further discussion will go like requirement problem, or there was documentation problem. So I think to some extent BA is the person responsible for that. So at the end of the day, he would be, he would take the ownership of that, or the product owner would come forward and say, okay, since I overlooked everything, so this has to be his, like anybody takes a responsibility for that, or is it like the whole team? Like, how does that work?
Okay, wonderful question, Priyanka. Very wonderful question.
Yeah.
And I know that even Priyanka ji would, Prerna ji would like to add something over here. So before I could add something, I would invite Prerna ji to share her experience, because even my experience will add up, but would love to hear the
Yes.
fresh one.
So to be very
yeah.
honest, it's a very valid question. But internally, there can be situation where we would as a team like to trace down or who was at fault, or maybe what was missed at which end, rather from who, rather it should be which team or which process. But to as far as the customer is concerned, it is not shown as it was missed by this person or that time. It is more or less kind of considered as a process flaw, or it is shown in a very respectable manner that it might have been missed or something, but there is definitely no blame game, or definitely no cornering some particular person. Within an organization, we would like to know where we skip and miss it, so we can work upon it better the next time. But to a client, is normally not showcased in such a big manner. If the outcome or if the damage is very big, then definitely the proper accountability is taken by the managers, accepted. But generally, that this doesn't happen that much, because even customers they are flexible to an extent. So yes, to the customer, it is an overall team, and internally also, generally the entire team born, it's born by the entire team. But then we would, as a manager, as seniors, as team members, they would like to know where we missed, or who skipped what, or where it could have been better. So that's as per my experience. Over to you, Gaurav.
Thank you so much, Prerna ji, for adding up with your example. And let me tell you very clear one important thing, Priyanka. You know why? Why no one will be blamed over here? There is a great hack. What happens, whatever we are going to discuss in UAT, do you know when things come up till UAT, it has been also tested in SIT. And not only in SIT, it will be tested by the vendor, but it also be tested by whom? By the client as well, right? Do you agree with this? It has to
Yes,
be tested by the client as well. It has to be tested by vendor as well. Client can't say that we have skipped it, and thus vendor can. So we have to agree that this is not individual's flaw. So if you will consider yourself a BA and getting into scared zone, you will find, okay, we are good, and we need not to scare anymore to take the flaw on our own shoulder or something like that. But let me tell you one very important thing. When we are talking about the failure or the defect due to various reasons, generally feature failures are out of this game, because till here only the understanding issue appears. So what happens, there is one part is not a there is one feature which is not the part of requirement itself. Okay, if the things are not the part of requirement, do you think it should be called as defect?
No, I don't think so. Should be
Not
fine.
at all. Excellent.
Yeah.
Not at all. So, what exactly happens, when BA are there, they immediately can tell, because this is never ever be the part of requirement, or things does not work in this way, because you may say that customer is approaching with some unrealistic requirement. They are approaching to you some unrealistic way. Say for example, if I could quickly recall or generate in my thought, that what could be the unrealistic requirement. Unrealistic requirement is this, that if I sit in India and I approach to Bank of America, state and thinking the moment I will put in my what do you call, my ATM card or debit card or credit card, I should be able to withdraw Indian currency on airport, so that I can utilize this in India later. So when you will see at high level, it won't be possible. To do that, based on the need, you should identify the such a dispenser or such a ATM which dispenses the specific currency, or even the Indian currency. Let me go have more grip on this example while telling you that in any street of the America, you won't be able to find, or in any county, you won't be able to find in general that a dispensing system or cash dispensing machine is dispensing Indian currency, because there is no requirement there, only dollar works. And just because you are thinking, hey, tomorrow I have to visit to another country, and the nearby ATM should dispense the cash, and what will happen, a person who has found it, he may think that this is ATM, it should dispense any currency I choose, it is not giving me the option of currency to choose, although such ATM has been built in, and you may find on the airport in some country, but this is not made available in every single street and in every single county in the America or anywhere else. So airport has some different approaches. That's why you will find different kind of dispensing machine. But in the city area or in the county or in the street, it is no requirement. And without requirement, how you can expect that it has, because someone, my relative in staying in America, and I am also in America staying over there, he is planning to go out into a different country, and the nearby ATM will dispense the will give the option to dispense or choose the currency to take away from that ATM machine in which country he's traveling. So this is unrealistic requirement. Do you agree with this, Priyanka?
Yes, Gaurav, yes.
Yeah. So that's how a customer can report, hey, it is not giving the option to dispense the different kind of currency. Then that time vendor may strongly and confidently say, hey, this is very unrealistic requirement, this was never been the part of requirement, why even we are discussing that, let's discard it. And there, with this level of confidence, he comes up and he says, no, 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 that's not the requirement, and I will not support it. Then senior person also comes into the picture from the customer end. He agrees on this non-acceptance or rejection of that defect. So this happens in the real live. Means still this pre-prod, we keep discussing every single. So I gave the example which is really unrealistic, but in reality you will find that some not this critical, this was really critical example, right? This is not very normal example, but in reality we'll find when you are working with any specific requirement, there could be some unrealistic defects which you tend to not to accept as a vendor. Okay, so I hope it has brought much more clarity that what exactly happens on the floor. Yes, Dipti, Priyanka, and Rahul, I don't know how it happens, whether Rahul has experienced any war room kind of thing, or he is undergoing right now any defect triage calls, or get the opportunity to attend. Rahul, would you like to add something?
No, not in this role. I'm basically currently I'm just gathering as is business processes.
Okay, okay. But remember, Rahul, tomorrow there could be a need that you could be the part of this, because this is the moment things move towards the, production or pre-prod, or it is an SIT and UAT and customers are involved, you will find yourself becoming the part of such kind of discussion. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
that is true. One question I have, you
yeah.
said the feature is missed and it could be ignored, but it could be that the genuine feature was missed.
Yeah,
What would
yeah.
happen then?
Yeah, so it may happen, very rare it happens. The percentage is very less, where you will find that it has been missed by the vendor, it has been missed by customer, and it missed by business user as well. And sometimes it has been caught in the production. Yeah, so a few functionality which totally underwent untested, because this feature was unlikely to be tested. Okay, and that's time it becomes very easy, because it becomes it has not been tested by anyone. We agree on one decision, either to defer it for the future release, or we will rework on that. But we definitely don't forget to discuss that. We simply discuss that in the war room or defect triage calls. Yeah. So these scenario also happens, that few genuine things are there which has been missed by everyone, and sometimes it has been caught by business users. As Prernaji has also said, that sometimes you find that a few things has been missed by our tester. So you have to be really approachable, or honest, what to accept, what not to accept. You should be being very diplomatic. Very diplomatic when I say that, if you are business analyst, you are knowing that you should be very keen on finding the flaw, but not declaring that flaw, that whose flaw is that. Be a leader. A leader is not a complainer. Leader is not a pinpointer. Leader is one who takes the responsibility in a very gentle way, where he says that this is cumulative responsibility, and this is what, even though we have missed, I mean, we are taking the responsibility to address it. Instead of saying that we have missed, we are going to address it. And not necessary that every single thing has been talked then and there. You buy the time for that, and you can say that I'll have to check with my team, and then we will come up. Why you should be checking with your team? Because sometime you may find that similar kind of defect was reported in SIT or in QA environment, and it was closed, but due to some another defect fix, you find that defect was opened. So you can't say that we had missed. So you would say, well, what I see in the past, or when I discussed with my team, we would say, I found that this defect was reported already in the build or in the version this of the software. However, in the latest version, we saw this defect was opened, this defect was picked up. Why? Because they were solving the defect ID X dash, or your project name dash, the ticket number 123. Okay, there are various scenario and various approaches through which one defect can be reopened. It is not always that every single defect is new, but sometimes it may happen that you are the BA and you are not even aware that your tester team might have reported that. So before committing and accepting that you are already on flaw, you have to be very much aware and alert, that you communicate that I need to check with my team why exactly and where this incident come from. Okay, so I'll report you in the or I'll update you, dear client, in the system, in the Jira, or in the email, or something like that. Now is it giving you, must be giving you more clarity now? Yeah,
right. Yeah, like it used to happen in CAT at USPS, that we, when we used to do CAT testing, we do not find any defect, but as soon as it reached production, we saw defects.
Yeah, so that likely to happen. Yeah. So sometime, yes. So I hope you are gaining a little bit of more confidence that how it happens. Prerna and sorry, Priya. Priya has not joined today. So Priyanka and Dipti. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So cool.
Yeah.
So let's move ahead, and let me. I think we have come to the end of the session today.
Yes, I didn't want to disturb you, but
Yeah.
we are almost past
So
our
no
time.
worries, no worries. So we can take, because these things anyways we are going to cover. These are the name of the tools. So that's it. So not much slides are there. We will just pick them up next time. So I truly appreciate your time for showing up over here. It's late night over there. So thank you so much for showing up. So Prerna ji, would you like to add something over here? Anything?
I just want to say thank you and be very honest with them that all of your enthusiasm and correct questions and practical situation wise thinking is really helping. And I just want all of you to continue doing this so we can come up with more real life examples and scenarios which will really enable you to work well in the final job or an actual industry. So
Yeah.
yes, I'll just take this opportunity and say today's session was very interesting and very knowledgeable. So yes, that is definitely from me. So over to you, Gauravji.
Yeah, so would like to hear from each one of you. So I think Prerna ji has concluded her final word. So Rahul, because you asked last question, so one word from today's session, please.
Realistic.
Okay, pass it to someone.
Priyanka.
Priyanka.
Yeah, thank you, Rahul. I think it was like a good introduction to the BA world. I think so. That's what comes to mind.
Yeah.
Dipti.
Yeah, I think one step closer to the BA. And thank you so much for teaching us, guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Call out my name.
And I would say, I would say Gaurav now.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, and it's really been pleasure being with you, discussing this stuff, and yeah, sharing the knowledge with you. Thank you so much for showing up, and keep showing up. Watch the recording as well, and yeah, we are good to close now. Bye bye, good night, take care. We are closing the session now. See
Yes.
you
Good
on
night,
Wednesday.
everyone.
Good night,
Yes.
everyone.
Good night. Bye.